Welcome to the Brew Crew Review Podcast, the show by fans for fans of your Milwaukee Brewers. Hi, Brewer fans. Welcome back to the Brew Crew Review Podcast. I'm Craig. I'm here with my colleagues Scott and Vince. The Brewers just completed a decent week here, including 3-4 against the Cubs at home, but within 2 games of the second wild card. How's it going, guys?
Hey, Craig. Hey, Scotty. How are you guys?
I'm doing great after this big win. Man, we needed to take that series, and 3 out of 4, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, great weekend series of baseball here. I should ask really quick, Craig, do we have is Chad on the set here with us?
I don't think Chad's gonna make it. He said he was. He said he did have school tomorrow, so I don't think it's a school night.
Yeah, we know that Chad doesn't usually go out on a school night. That's definitely true. You know, he likes to get his 10 hours of sleep and eat healthy and all that. So yeah, it's probably true.
Yep. I gotta say, guys, after the thumping we took on Thursday, that 10-5 loss, I was really worried that we weren't going to be able to take this series, but came back really strong on Friday with the big 7-1 win, and then the heroics Saturday with Grandal's homer in the 8th, and then the Yelich walk-off in the 9th. The steal a 3-2 win.
Yeah.
And then today with the 8-5 win, awesome.
Yeah, no, it was very exciting. And we should point out, too, the Brewers, with the win today against Chicago, the season series against the Cubs is now over. The Brewers do end 2019 season with a winning record against the Chicago Cubs, 10-9 on the year. So, hey, a game's a game. Much better. Much would prefer to be on that end of it than a game below 500 against your bitter division rival.
Yeah, y'all know what the difference one game can be in a course of a season. Just ask the Cubs last year.
Right, exactly. So no, that was exciting today. A nice way to spend a weekend of watching baseball, and quite frankly, it was exciting because we lost Game 1 of the series on Thursday night. So, you know, for a series that's pretty close to being a must-win series for the Brewers, to lose the first game and come back and win all 3 of the final games over the weekend was pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I just keep thinking about 2 things really stand out to me in this series anyway. Saturday's game. First, I really love that they're opting to pitch to Yelich, which makes total sense. I mean, there's no way that you can really pitch around him and put the winning run in scoring position. But they go into a no doubles defense. But Schwarber is not the most fleet of foot, and even with that, he kind of got caught in no man's land, couldn't make the catch, ball skips away. And no doubles defense does not help. Yelich still doubles in the run. Absolutely phenomenal. Today's game on Sunday really actually kind of bothered me a little bit was, you know, we have the 8-3 lead going into the 9th, and I really just think we just have a clean inning. Like, just, you know, even if you give up a little bit, but you have to be able to get through that game without using Josh Hader. I mean, now he's probably unavailable tomorrow. And you need him for every close game, and this did not have to be a close game, but sure enough, unfortunately, Nelson had a little bit of a rough inning, gave up the 2-run homer, and then Hader has to come on to close the door. So that was disappointing to me.
Yeah, I agree, and now we'll see how Hader's usage is affected. He did throw 2 innings yesterday, and then, as you mentioned, had to come in today in relief for Jimmy Nelson, and Scott, you and I were talking a little bit in the pre-production meeting before the show. Jimmy needed some work. Would you have used him in this inning or kept him in the game even after he gave up that home run? What would you have done differently than Counsell did in that situation?
I mean, that's what makes it so tough. I mean, like, it doesn't even matter who's out there. Like, I don't really have a lot of faith in just about anybody, and I know Jimmy needs work, but, like, I don't even think that he had to do something. He got him basically a quick hook. He got him out of there before the tying run had to come to the plate. But it's just frustrating, I guess, that that it's a 5-run lead in the ninth, and like he can't just work through it. And man, the velocity is there, but he got a lot of the plate again, and it's just frustrating because I know how good I've seen the really good Jimmy Nelson, and he hasn't showed up yet this year, and I was really hoping to see him.
5-run lead or not, I guess this is a must-win game for the Brewers. I mean, there's just no other way around it. If we lost this game somehow, it would have been beyond devastating, and probably a season ender. I mean, even with this many games left to play, being 2 back of wild card gives us a shot. We're not in any type of driver's seat whatsoever. And if we still have guys on the roster that we're quote-unquote just trying to get work and not trusting to help us win, it's kind of a problem at this point, unfortunately, overall. But no, I mean, I don't know if I've done too much differently than Council. I had no problem using Hader in this game. This was the most important game left of the season that we had to win, in my opinion, especially how the 4-game series started with us getting pounded by the Cubs. For us to win the last 3 was beyond huge, and it prolonged us at least have, if nothing else, having at least one more podcast where there was some hope left, so that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is all about our podcast at the end of the day. No, but Craig, to your point, yeah, I think this was about as much must win as it gets, to be playing not only a division rival, but a team that's ahead of us in both the division and the wild card. The home series, you're expected to at least split or be better than the opposing team when you're playing them at home. So it's great to get 3 or 4 from these guys, and I think that today's game, as you said, if we would have lost that after getting up by as many runs as we did, being up by 5 at one point in the game, I think that would have been, just emotionally draining for this team. It would have been really difficult to come back on in any circumstance, but let alone after giving up a 5-run lead. So I see both your guys' points. It's a shame we had to get to Hader today. Nelson just hasn't been the same all year this year, so I really don't know when you're going to work him in. And certainly and we're getting ahead of ourselves, but if the Brewers were to make the postseason, I don't think that we're going to see Jimmy Nelson on the postseason roster. I just don't think he's dependable. Whereas I would say that a guy like Brent Suter, who was also coming back from injury, was recalled the same day from San Antonio as Jimmy Nelson was about a week or so ago. I think that he would be on the postseason roster at this point. He earned his first win here in 2019 here today as well.
Yeah, Suter's done a phenomenal job since he's come back. I mean, I can't believe that, this guy, obviously he's shown that he's had control over all of his pitches. Like, he's hitting his spots. And not only that, but I think we talked about it a lot last episode, but the guy just is like an emotional pick-me-up to the team. Like, I mean, the team rallies for him, and he's just a great, energetic guy in the clubhouse.
Yeah, Suter in 2 games at a 2.08 ERA coming into today's game. So this would have been his 3rd appearance for the Brewers here in 2019, and has a 1-0 record now after today's win. So, yeah, definitely great to see Brent pitching well and as well as he has. And really, I would say, has even continued to improve on what he was last season. So, yeah, really, really exciting to see that. And I think if the season ends today and the Brewers are in the postseason, I think that he does make the playoff roster.
Yeah, I think now, now ZRA is even lower. I think it's probably a little under $1.50, something like that. I don't think he's walked a guy yet in 6+ innings. So, no, he's really, so far anyway, this is a great start.
Yep, absolutely.
So, I think there's probably roughly about 20 games left in the schedule. I think a little less than that. Having 2 games out, I know that there's a couple other teams that are in front of us. I believe the Diamondbacks lost today, though. But obviously we're going to have to outplay all those teams. What gives you guys the most hope as far as the fact that we have a chance to do that? Who do you think is a players that are going to get hot and outside Christian Yelich and help us do that, especially like on the pitching side?
Well, that's a bit difficult to know who's going to get hot. But I do think that, again, guys coming back from injuries could be a boon for the Brewers a little bit. Again, Brent Suter being one of those guys. You hope to see guys kind of regain some form. Zach Davies had started off the year incredibly well. I think he was one of the better pitchers in the National League in the first half, and then has really struggled the last 6 weeks. But his last start was outstanding. So if a guy like Davies can come back to form a bit, that could be huge for the team. And then we've got to see continued, over performances from guys like Drew Pomeranz and guys like Jordan Lyles. So the Brewers rotation on paper doesn't look nearly as good as a lot of other teams. But that being said, Jordan Lyles has pitched better than just about any pitcher in baseball the last month. So I guess you never know what's going to happen down the stretch here.
Yeah, and one thing within the division that I think kind of helps us out just a little bit is, I know that we've had to deal with injuries all year, and as well as obviously every other team. But Cubs are hurting right now too. I mean, Kimbrel is back on the injured list, so that definitely hurts the back end of their bullpen, which already isn't great. And Javi Baez now, he's got a hairline fracture on his thumb, and they say that he's like sort of day to day, but like I just don't think he's coming back in maybe not even this year. Like I don't know if he might not be back until the playoffs. So that I just don't know what's going to happen with him. But yeah, hurt at the wrong time.
Yeah, the latest report that we saw this morning said that Baez is probably out for the year, whether that means the regular season only or the postseason, or maybe that's just speculation at this point. I guess we don't really know. I haven't seen much from our colleague Tom Hodgecourt because he doesn't really report on, stories like that or get the scoop on anything. So I haven't seen anything from him. But it did look like Baez was going to miss at least a significant point of time. And Craig, to get back to your original question here, I would say that a bit of good news for the Brewers right now. The report, again, it wasn't from Hodgecourt, but it was from others that do actual reporting on the Brewers, was that Keston Hiura was running for the first time today since his injury, and that he is on track to come back, and that Brandon Woodruff actually threw a bullpen session today as well. So that things are looking in the right direction, at least, on those two guys coming back from injuries, which could be huge. And one other name I'll throw out, not a pitcher, but position guy, Ryan Braun. And Braun is a guy who we've seen it time and again over the years, but he plays very well down the stretch. He is a clutch performer. So I think that maybe Ryan Braun could be the guy who is big for the Brewers in the next few weeks. We'll see.
It certainly helps.
Yeah, I think
Grandal's definitely gotten some big hits lately. Tyler Austin with a big 3-run pinch hit shot today. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, how about that? His second major league game and his first official at bat. He had a plate appearance in yesterday's the Saturday game against the Cubs and was hit by a pitch. So he's been on base 2 out of 2 times, I guess, during his brief Brewers career. But that was pretty exciting. And we should throw out props to Tyrone Taylor, the guy. And Craig, you can talk to this a little bit better than perhaps Scott and I can, and get back to some of Brandon's earlier reporting. But this is a guy who was at one point a top prospect in our system, and then he had both injuries and a down season or two, and had kind of fallen off a lot of people's radar. Had a good year last year, and had somehow worked his way back into the major leagues. And I'm not saying he's a long-term piece for the Brewers, but I do think that it's cool when a guy who's put in the time that he has eventually does achieve his goal of at least reaching the major leagues. And now he's contributing down the stretch.
The other guy that really we need to talk about, who has been missing for a while. He's dealt with a lot of nagging injuries, and that's Lorenzo Cain. And it really all starts at the top of the order, and Cain is able to do so much up there. And in the last week now, he's hitting .333, and he's getting on base at a .455 clip. It's just really great to see him hopefully getting healthy at the right time here, and hopefully, generate just be that spark at the top of the order.
Yep, absolutely, Scott. And I don't know, there might be some other surprises going down the stretch here. You never know at this time of year who steps up and is a hero in a big way. And a lot of times it can be guys that are completely unexpected or off the radar. Last year it was Wade Miley pitching well down the stretch for the Brewers, or even Corey Knebel coming back from a bad first half to, be a real key contributor. So this time of year is pretty special, I think. And as a baseball fan, I really enjoy it. Even in years where the Brewers are not even in this good of a position. So to see the Brewers 2 games out in the wild card and it is 20 games, just for the record, that remain to be played yet here in the 2019 season during the regular season. Just got a note from our interns on that, but yes, 20 games remaining. So it's a pretty exciting, special time of year. And a week from now, we might be totally out of it, but a week from now, we could be, who knows, a few games ahead of things in the wild card. So that's what makes this time of year fun.
Yeah, so on the docket, Scott.
Oh, I was just gonna say I've been doing this like pretty much every episode now, but like it's just been like I've just keep hammering home that like we have the ability to really make a move here in these last 20 games. I mean, after this, we have 4 at the Marlins, then 3 at the Cardinals. That's the only big series that got against a really good team. And then we have a 4-game series at home against the Pirates, and then 3 against the Padres, and then 3 at home against the Pirates. And then we go on the road 3-3 with the Reds and the Rockies. So, I mean, it's not a daunting schedule. Stranger things have happened. We could make a run.
Yeah, kind of crazy, too. We end the season, this last full week is on the road. And I think actually – not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but 2020, I believe that we end the season with a week of games on the road as well.
I wonder if there's any way we could do a Brew Crew Review road trip to the Rockies in that series if it comes down to it.
I'm available, actually, yes.
Yeah, I know this 4-game set coming up this week against the Marlins is pretty huge. I know that we went to Miami last year for a 4-game series in a kind of key time, too, and things didn't go that well. If I remember correctly, we only took 1 of the games in Miami. It's a pretty poor team, too, and so we can't let that happen again. We've really got to take 3 or 4 of this series at least, especially going into St. Louis next weekend, which is another huge series. I mean, we really got to find a way to win 2 of those 3 games at minimum.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so mad about us having to use Hader today, because he's probably unavailable for Monday's game. And then obviously you want to be able to not only win on Thursday, the last game of the series, but you want to be able to win big so that you have Hader available for potentially 2 games at the Cardinals. I mean, so that like these games, when you have a lead and when you have a big lead like that, you got to be able to finish it without having to bring in and use Josh Hader. I mean, you can't use him every game, and I just feel like we really just let that one slip away today. Like, even with the win, like, I was still, like, frustrated by that.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that one, Scott. But this time of year, too, guys I think are expecting to overpitch a little bit. Throwing a lot of innings is not going to be unusual for any team that's contending at this point, unless you're a team like Houston that's way, far ahead in their division. One other point I just wanted to make really quick, with the teams ahead of us in the wild card, I will just say that I think that Arizona has been really hot recently. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games, but I don't necessarily expect them to continue at that clip. So I think that could be the fact that we've hung tight and gone 7-3 down the same stretch is exciting, and it gives me a little hope, because I think that the Diamondbacks are a decent team, but I don't think they're as good as their recent hot run indicates. So I don't expect them to maintain that clip. The Cubs, as you pointed out, Scott, are dealing with some injuries now. Kimbrel and Baez and others are banged up and hurt. And the Nationals, I just, as I mentioned on other podcasts, I go to a lot of Nationals games, and they're a good team. We've got a great rotation. Their offense is solid, but their bullpen is just so bad. I don't think that any of these teams are necessarily unbeatable or guaranteed a spot in the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, Mets and Phillies are kind of hanging around. I guess I haven't.
Well, the Phillies are tied. Phillies are tied with us, so yeah.
Yeah, and after that, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's it. Just those teams that we're competing with for the wild card. So, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, in the division, we could have hoped that we would, you could, if we had a lead or something like that we could just play 500 ball, and the Cubs and Cardinals could slip and we could still sneak in. But with the wild card, with that many teams, they're not all going to slip. You have to take the wild card. So we're going to have to make a run.
I really feel that in order to make the wild card, we're probably going to have to go 13-7 in our last 20 games at the minimum. And so if you look at that, we have 6 series left. I would say that we can basically afford to lose 1 game per series maybe against a tough team like Cardinals, we could still get by, but losing 2 or something like that. Or we have 2 4-game setters, so I mean, you're most likely going to lose 2 games in one of those 2 4-game sets. So I really feel that we have to win every series going forward in order to actually get for a wild card berth. And with this team, it'll be challenging, but hey, with 20 games left, it's great to at least be in this position with some hope left.
It definitely, when you break it down like that, it definitely seems like quite a task. I mean, even with a semi-favorable schedule, I mean, where you're like, yeah, I mean, this 4-game series, we can only lose 1. This series, only lose 1. This one, 1, 1, 1. Like, but you're right. I mean, that's the way the math is going to play out. I mean, we're going to have to just keep winning series. And I remember last year, like, it seemed so great because we would always win game 1 of the series, and then we'd be like, oh, all right, and like we were just winning series over and over and over again, and that just hasn't happened this year. Like we've never been out in front like that.
Yeah, just not the way that this team has played. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Scott.
And I think there was kind of a creative use of the entire pitching staff today. When Adrian Hauser, I think he got pulled after 4 innings. After the Brewers opened up a little bit of a lead, I believe, or did he make it 5? But, to bring in Suter for a couple of innings, and I think that's the real advantage this year of still having that expanded 25-man roster up to almost 40 Brewers in all those spots. But they're using quite a few guys, and I think that really helps the pitching staff. It really was a key for us last September, too. So I don't know. It's hopefully, I know that might be going away next year, but I think this year let's take advantage of it and get through as many games as we can, kind of gut them out. But going back to Scott's point, as far as like the use of Hader, I mean, there's 20 games left, guys. If we have to use Hader 2 games in a row, we have to use 2 games in a row. I mean, I understand monitoring his usage, but maybe more so keeping him to a limit of 1 innings pitched each game, if at all possible, rather than having him go 2 innings like he sometimes does. I think is a better plan going forward. But I'm not going to want to tell counsel how to use the bullpen at this point. You got to use Hader when you got to use them. But I'm not opposed to overworking them, so to speak, if need be.
I think you make a good point there, because I think it's going to be the kind of situation where they're gonna try to use him maybe a little bit more often in those high leverage situations, but maybe for less of those like multi innings. Like we're not gonna see Hader for 3 innings. We might see him for like 2 or 4 outs or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Said, though, we'll see him as many times as we need to see him. I think just at this point it's all hands on deck, right? You throw everything against the wall that you can, and the Brewers are, we do have our back up against the wall to a degree because there's 20 games left in the year, and we're 2 games back right now for a playoff spot. So I think we're going to do anything we can to win any game that we can at this point. And so hopefully there's some blowouts, and we're on the good side of the blowout coming up, just to rest these guys a little bit. But I think when you're a professional athlete, you kind of train yourself and gear yourself towards this stretch run. I mean, this is what you play for.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, if there is any fault in our schedule, it's that our last day off was on September 4th. We have 1 more day off the rest of the year. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of back-to-back-to-back-to-backs. And, I guess the only good thing is, as Craig pointed out before, we have a 13-man bullpen right now. So, I mean, there's no worry there. We have plenty of arms.
I think our offense has to continue to carry us as they have for most of the season, just because, our starters are barely even going at 5-6 innings tops. I can't even remember the last time a Brewer starter went 7 innings, which is kind of ridiculous. But this is how the team is built, I guess. But having guys like, I think on Saturday at this Cubs game, or Cubs series, I should say, Freddie Peralta went 2 innings and struck out like 5 batters, and like I mentioned, right, Brent Suter went 2 innings in the middle of the game, didn't get up any runs today, and that was huge, especially since we finally got to Lester. So again, huge series win, but it's those guys that are contributing kind of in the middle of the bullpen that are making it happen, and hopefully that can continue going forward.
Yep, Absolutely.
Yeah. So this next week we're on the road, 7 games, 4 at the Marlins, 3 at the Cardinals. How do you guys think we're gonna do?
Well, actually, Scott, I was going to say, did our anonymous source, Tom Carter, say that he was going on this road trip? Didn't he tell us that when he was having one of our, like, those conversations where he gives us all that inside information?
No,
Carter?
that is false. Tom doesn't want to be used as an anonymous. Source. He said it's fine, but we have to keep him anonymous. So I know we love to give him credit, but he doesn't want us to use his name. So we could just call him like Tom.
Really?
D. Carter. I know this is new to everyone, but it's he does actually. He has a long-standing thing that he does not vacation south of the Mason-Dixon line, so he will not.
Did not know that.
Yep.
Huh. All right. Fair enough.
Yep. I really feel that we gotta take 3 or 4, and that we will take 3 or 4 from the Marlins, and that we'll win 2 or 3 from the Cardinals. Be optimistic. We'll go 5-2 for this week and really, put us in a good position. And the other thing I think you guys mentioned last podcast is the Cubs and Cardinals still have some games on the docket. So, they're going to be kind of beating each other up. They're going to be getting solid losses. And outside of the 3-game series left with in St. Louis, we're not going to have that issue facing them either. And in fact, we're not facing any of the other wild card contending teams in our last 20 games. But with that being said, you mentioned the 4 games at home against the Padres. We really need to get revenge for the fact that we got swept in that 3-game series when we went out to San Diego, which is just beyond ridiculous. So hopefully we can sweep that series coming up at home. And it is kind of unfortunate. Our last 6 games are on the road, including 3 to end the season in Colorado. I usually like ending the season at home, but especially when you're in a fan chase like we were last year. But anyway, what can you do? So.
Are we going to go to a Brew Crew Review road trip in Denver, as Scott suggested? I'm up for it. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
We should do it. I'd be up for that.
I don't think it would be a road trip because I think I would fly.
Me too. But yeah.
but no, I think that just might have to happen.
All right, let's do it, guys. That'd be fun.
All right, so fans, I guess if you know anything to do in Denver, Colorado, please let us know at I guess on Twitter at Brew Crew Review 1, or Facebook. I guess we look at it once in a month or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
and I know that there was a movie over 10 years ago that was entitled "Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead." Hopefully, we don't have to recreate the things to do in Denver when you're eliminated, because if we already booked our tickets, that could be the movie we're making. But anyway.
Yeah, we might have to wait until the last minute for that one. But the problem is,
well, either way, it's a beautiful ballpark. I've been there one time. It is really nice, and they've got great food there. So I would definitely. And Denver's nice too. So we should go.
It's kind of far away, but I think the New Belgium Brewery is one of my favorite non-Wisconsin breweries, I guess. So we could just run.
Well, Scott, you're then in charge of renting a car so that we can drive there. It'll be fine.
Damn it! We'll just Uber it or Lyft it or something. I don't know what they have in Denver. I assume you could probably just hitchhike in Denver. They'll just pull over and be like, "Hey, how's it going, friend?"
You think? Okay, maybe. The New Belgium Brewing Company's in North Carolina, though, for the record.
What? No.
I said New Belgium Brewing Company. It's in Asheville, North Carolina.
Is that really true? God damn it.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Ask the interns, and they will confirm. But yeah, it's in Asheville, North Carolina. But that's okay.
Now I'm frustrated. I thought for sure that it was. We have to know this. I have to know this. No, it's in. Okay, hang on. They have a brewery in Asheville, North Carolina. Wait a second. I think my dad lives there. What the hell?
Asheville's like a 7-hour drive from me. We could go there.
I could do that. I just found a reason to visit my family. That's awesome.
Well, we were all very close to Asheville when we were in the Smoky Mountains, Scott.
Yeah, that's true. That was such a great road trip. I really miss that we don't have a AAA affiliate in Nashville anymore. So great. So many memories. But they do
That's
also
true.
have a brewery in Fort Collins, Colorado. So we were both right. So that's good. It's good to know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But,
Good to know, Scott.
I guess we're talking too much about non-Wisconsin beer at this point. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say that we're going to take 3 or 4 in Miami, and then unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I think we're going to lose 2 of 3
Yep.
in St. Louis.
In St.
So
Yeah, that was my prediction exactly, Scott. That was exactly where I was at.
frustrating, but
Yep.
that's just what I think is going to happen. I hope I'm
So,
wrong.
I mean, if you guys are both predicting to go 4-3 on the week, that would leave us with 2 weeks left, only be able to lose, according to my math, then we'd only be able to lose 4 more games in the last 4 series. So we'd just definitely be putting the pressure on ourselves if we have a 4-3 week. I mean, obviously it sounds ridiculous that we win the week, but we'd still be in trouble. But I don't know. I think we need to play really good ball going forward. We'll see.
Yes, we will.
So are you saying, what was your pick, Craig?
Well, I said 5-2.
5-2.
But
Okay. All right. That's good.
I don't trust that we'll come through for my prediction, but that's okay. I mean, hopefully.
I sincerely hope you're right, though. And if you are, then I will say I will post on Twitter as predicted. Craig got this right. Actually, I think I predicted we take 3 or 4 from the Cubs, so maybe I should post that on Twitter too. I don't know. We talk about posting a lot, but I don't really post that much. I should probably post more.
Yep. And
Sorry,
a thank you to all the people that gave us a follow here on Twitter this week. We are up to 832 followers as of this taping, so thank you to all who've given us a follow at Brew Crew Review 1. And please do remember to send in your questions to us via email, Brew Crew Review Podcast with an S at gmail.com.
And definitely, hopefully you guys really enjoy our content, because regardless, I really hope you guys give us a 5-star review. I saw that we just got another one, but our reviews are kind of lacking, I guess, right now. And so it's really impactful what you rate right now. So hopefully you really, really enjoy this or appreciate our efforts and give us that 5-star rating that we so desperately need.
All right.
Outstanding.
Well, hopefully it's an interesting last 20 games of the season, guys. Really hoping to maybe make it out to some of the games at Miller Park. I'm hoping to go one of the games next week against Padres. Hopefully it's a meaningful big game coming up. So, that's what we're looking forward to. If you guys are more than welcome to join me if you're able to make it back to Milwaukee next week.
Maybe I've got to be in New York for a few days next week, but maybe perhaps after that is done, if need be, I could try to get home. Otherwise, Denver, guys.
Well, if you are going to pick even one series to go to, although I'm willing to bet that it's probably already sold out, but there might be some standing room, is the 21st Saturday against Pittsburgh, Fan Appreciation Night. Always exciting. If you can, I'd probably order your tickets online. It's probably easier to do it that way than have to talk to a person.
No, Scott, we'll just call your ex-girlfriend Miss Brown.
No, that is unequivocally false.
Okay. All right. Well,
that is slander, my friend.
Well, we've got interns that can edit that out, I'm sure. But in any event.
No, we have a lot of good friends that still do there. Tungus is still there. That's the AMPM.
Yep. Absolutely.
Great friend. Always willing to help a customer.
Well, sounds good, guys. Well, looking forward to another, hopefully, good week of Brewers baseball. Let's hope that Craig's prediction is more accurate than ours, Scott, and that the Brewers play some very exciting baseball against both Miami and St. Louis here in the coming days.
Yep, should be exciting.
All right.
Hang in there.
Sounds good.
It's going to get crazy.
It's last Cubs fans in West Dallas, and go Brewers.
All right, guys. Go Brewers. Dun, 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 dun.